Hello and welcome to Believe It or Not, episode 99 of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
Yo, Obed. Good to be with you for episode 99. We have made it this far and episode 100's around the corner, man. We are just keep on keeping on, dude. This is a this is amazing. I mean, I know I definitely, saw this thing being something that, we would do for a while, but it's just great to be here and know like how far we've come.
Yeah, I am super excited about next week and what we're gonna do, which is gonna be a little bit different. We're not gonna tell you guys what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something. And yeah, and also Joe, this week we are sacrificing quantity for quality,
Yeah.
and we're going to try and shoot to better the audio quality, which I know that's been an issue for the last couple of weeks. So this week there will be no actual video on YouTube, but there will be an audio only version on YouTube that you guys can go and listen to from YouTube, is if that's your platform of choice. Unfortunately, our adorable faces are not gonna be in that video, but until we figure this out, unfortunately, Google keeps changing stuff on us, man, and
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta
It's
adapt,
it's not us, it's them.
adapt or die. It's like Shark Week over here.
It is Shark Week.
It is Shark Week, yeah. But Joe, what's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. Man, just getting back into the swing of things since coming back from our Comic Con with our last episode, man. Just sitting back, going through all the stuff that I got. It's like catching up on life because those days straight, man. Just it's just stuff that I'll take away from me for a lifetime and always remember. Did get to play some Switch recently. Spent a lot of time doing Mario Kart. Such a great game, dude. Like
Mario Kart's
it's such a
awesome.
fun game just to jump into. Whether you're doing battle mode, whether you're doing Grand Prix, whatever you prefer. Like there's all the modes I think are fine and great. So yeah, that's been the most of my time. But really just mostly catching up on stuff and getting back in the swing of things. I also got to binge watch a show called The Bodyguard on Netflix.
Okay.
And that was something that I saw had won, I believe, an Emmy, if I'm not mistaken, been nominated for a few things. But the most interesting thing about it is that the actor that's going to be playing Icarus in the Eternals is the lead actor in the show, and it's obviously, like I said, it's an award-winning show from Netflix. I recommend it. The Bodyguard's good, but yeah, it was cool to see him in a role because obviously I don't know what this guy's gonna bring to the Eternals, but if he did really well on this show, it just makes me more excited for to see what he'll bring to the character in the Eternals. I mean, they've got a really good cast in general. I mean, when Angelina Jolie is leading that cast, like, all right, they're taking this thing for real, which we wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
But it's cool to sit back and enjoy a show and know that this person can be part of the Marvel universe down the line.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. That's cool, man. Yeah, I haven't watched a ton. Just going back to the Switch, man. Something that I forgot to mention last week is that I went out and got Mario Odyssey, or Super Mario Odyssey on Switch.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I was able to actually get the you probably um uh seen it around. It's the one that comes with, I think it's called the Traveler's Guide. It's basically like a small like strategy guide that comes with the game. So I got it, and I am 0 hours in because I've been watching my daughter play, and
Wow.
this is her game. I bought it for her, and I've been, I basically just set it on assist mode, and it's like, here you go, kid. This is your game. Play it. So I've been helping her get through it, which she gets stuck mostly on the boss fights. That's where she gets stuck a little bit. Um, so I've been helping her. Basically, the boss fights is the part of the game that I've been playing, and some of the harder platforming. There's some of the platforming is kind of tricky, kind of too hard for her still, but I've been helping her with that, and the game is so good, Joel. That
That's
game is
awesome, dude.
that game is made with happiness and positive things. It's really good. It's one of those things that you play it and you just feel happy, and I think that's one of the reasons why this game reviewed so well, because it reviewed very, very well. It got, tens all over the place. it's just because it just brings you joy, and there's nothing bad about the game. Uh, the game is it's not perfect because there's to be honest with you, I find less issues with this game that I found with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild being a larger scope game has a lot of other issues. This game is like as close as you can get to a flawless experience overall.
Wow.
It's fantastic, and I've been having a lot of fun just watching her trying to get uh the moons and going around, and we're actually pretty far in. So it's been an experience. It's like the this is like the moment that I was waiting for when I became a dad. I was like, just here you go, kid. You handle this thing. And so we've been having this really cool bonding experience, and I get agitated, because it's like follow the arrows, follow the arrows. So it's like,
The way you would play it,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's like, so follow the arrows. What do you think you're going? Where are you going this way? Oh, but I'm supposed to go that way. It's like, no, we're already there, so you need to keep going forward. So yeah, it's been an experience. That's basically what I've done, new when it comes to gaming. I did go back to Kingdom Hearts 3 and did all the challenges, including the hidden boss that it has. I think I was at level 74 to beat that boss because it was pretty challenging, and that was good. Went back, played it for another 8-10 hours or so, and it was good. Played a bunch of Battlefront 2 again over the weekend. The game's good, guys. I'm sorry. And JoJo ended. So JoJo Part 5. The last episode aired last Thursday, if I'm not wrong. I watched it on Tuesday, and it was really strong. The second half of this, part of JoJo was so strong. It was really good. Um, this for some reason this part for me, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but it was kind of hard at the beginning because it was hard to um I guess relate with the characters on this part. Of course, JoJo is one timeline, but each part is a different story. So there's like it's sort of like Final Fantasy, but there's a continuity. There's a timeline that you need to be familiar with. But all the stories are encapsulated on their own different things. Um, so just the characters, it was kind of hard for me to relate to some of the characters at the beginning. It's like, oh, these characters are like terrible people, and it was hard once they started growing on me, and once like the action sort of started. Was good. The villain was really weird. It wasn't my favorite villain. Um, it was because if he was like super mysterious, I really like the villain dynamic, that the sort of thing that happened with the villain, and who the villain was, and how the villain came to be, and all this crazy storytelling, and all the stuff that they do. Um, but to me, it wasn't necessarily the strongest one. I preferred I really loved part 4. Part 3 was like part 3 of JoJo is an experience, right? It's like this is not only a TV show, this is not anime, it's an experience. It's legit. But part 4 was it was really good, and I really love the mix of action horror comedy that it has, and for the entire series, and I highly recommend it. I mean, it's not for everyone because it's like it's not super egregious in some of the things that it has, but it does rely a lot on pop culture. It has a lot of pop culture references, and it's really well done. So yeah, highly recommended. Yeah, that ended recently, so I was able to watch it as it went, for the first time, because basically like last year I just started binging everything, and until this part started back in September, basically. So I think I will probably see part 6 next year. We'll see. I'm excited for whenever that happens. I heard that Part Six, the manga itself is really good. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Joel, we got a few things that we want to talk about. There's a mostly gaming related, but we had a pretty big announcement today, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about that. So Universal Studios, of course, we know that they are expanding their parks in all of their three parks. The one in Osaka, Japan, Hollywood, and the one here in Orlando. And the big thing that everyone's talking about, of course, is the Super Nintendo World that's opening next year in Japan. I think 2021 Hollywood. The one here was delayed because of a change of plans, and we sort of known about this because traffic has been a mess, and we've been forced to take several different roads and see what's going on around the area. So they announced today that they are opening a third full blown theme park called Universal's Epic Universe. So you get
Yes.
two universes in a three-letter title. I'm not a big fan of that name, but the park itself, the renderings they showed, and people have been dissecting basically the pictures for the concept art that was released today with the press conference, and have found some interesting things, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually pleasantly excited for this. You and I got to talk about this when we first saw the announcement come out briefly, and like you said, Obed, there's not much to really go off of aside from the name and the concept art, which everyone's speculating and breaking down, and most of it doesn't seem too hard to put together. It's just I think the reason why you don't have these concrete information that came along with it just because of the legalities and of IPs and how they want to portray and do how they want to utilize space and et cetera, et cetera. First things first, the name Obed I think is really solid. Epic Universe. It's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be something that in Central Florida people will really gravitate towards. Universal's in a unique situation in comparison to someone like Disney, where we have in here in Florida we have Disney World, where it's all the Disney areas is all just one whole area, right? Like you're on
It's
Disney
like a
property, you're
city.
driving. It's
Yeah,
its own city,
it's its own
exactly.
city. Yeah.
Right. So Universal's a little unique because, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios are literally side by side. This one's just a little bit, it's not like far, but just a little bit off property per se, right? Like, but it's not anything crazy at all. But it makes sense because they need to have a large space. And in fact, looking at these renderings and looking at what they've got planned here, this could be the biggest park that they have in general.
Yes, the
Um,
land area is actually bigger than the land area that they have right now at where Universal Studios and Alice of Adventures sit in Volcano Bay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's pretty big. Yeah, I mean the thing is that I heard that they're not gonna build a parking garage like what they have at
Oh,
Universal
really?
Studios. They're gonna have it's gonna be a surface parking lot
Hmm.
like
When Wilds
what
and
Disney,
stuff.
yeah, like what Disney has right now, yeah,
Yeah.
because Disney is still like open, open area parking lots. So that could be part of it. I mean, that they could definitely save millions of dollars not having to build a garage and just having an open area parking lot instead. But what people have been dissecting has been the lands, of course. That's what everyone's excited about, and of course, there's a section of the park that looks exactly like the mock-ups that we've seen for Super Nintendo World, including the Donkey Kong area. So that's on that's on the rendering, and you can definitely see where the big Mario Kart ride is and where the Donkey Kong mine cart roller coaster is. So you can definitely pinpoint these things in the map. One area that was really interesting to me, Joel, is the one that's sort of above the what could be definitely Super Nintendo Land. Is it looks like dimly lit with like a purple-ish lighting, And what the rumor is that that's going to be like a Universal Classic Monsters themed area. So your Bela Lugosi Dracula and Frankenstein and Boris Karloff Frankenstein and Wolfman and all these classic Universal monsters. Of course, they have a theater in that area as well, so we assume it's going to be some sort of live show, kind of like what the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review was back in Universal Studios. What do you think of this land, Joel? It looks interesting because it's a castle and it's basically you get a full blown Dracula castle with some other touches related to Universal monsters. But what do you think, man?
I think this is brilliant. I mean, Universal having the rights to so many of these amazing monsters, and obviously from their classic films, and yes, obviously modern culture today may not be as familiar with it, but like I still think, I still think done right, this is going to be something that's going to really open people's eyes more to this really cool, different side of Universal that not many of the new generation knows about. And yeah, I think there's a lot they can do here. I'm pretty excited about what rides could be coming to this kind of thing. What kind of just in general experiential stuff, right? When you think of Walt Disney World, you think of the experiences, and I hate to keep comparing, but it's just for the sake of this is what it is. It's the
It's
battle
fair.
theme parks, right? Yeah.
It's a fair comparison. I mean, Universal, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They're
No.
they're a competitor.
Yes.
They're the Xbox to the PlayStation to Disney's PlayStation.
Oh man, there goes the comment section. But it's true. It's absolutely fair what
Yeah.
you're saying, and like I think Disney's been known for their experiential, like you don't have to go on the big roller coaster or whatever at Disney World. I mean, yeah, they have stuff, but like where Universal has that kind of stuff, but Disney's like you walk through and you're in Cinderella's palace and you're immersed in this
Yeah, it's
this
immersion.
world of fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think this could be a really great opportunity in general, just for the expansion of that experiential stuff with the Universal side. Having this epic walkthrough of being in the world of the monsters can be really cool. So I know they've done a really good job with that with the Harry Potter world, and we'll get to that in just a second. But
Hmm.
I think that's probably one of the best experiential stuff that they've done in general, Universal. So now doing this, hopefully, with the Monsters universe, totally a fan of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that they should definitely leverage these properties because they are well recognized, classic, timeless properties, and even if they do right, pay homage and pay respect to the classic Dracula and the classic Wolfman, the classic Frankenstein. I would love to see something maybe a little bit more edgy on this end, where
Yes.
you go through a ride that's genuinely scary and immersive, and something that Disney will not do because it's
Yeah.
too much, sort of thing. And Universal, they haven't they don't shy away from that, right? They have Halloween Horror Nights, which are adult themed attractions basically during the Halloween time. So if they do, sort of like not necessarily a 365 sort of Halloween Horror Nights, but something that pays homage to the classic monsters, as well as gives you, it gives you genuine scares out at the park. That'd be great because they again, Disney shies away from being too scary. Universal doesn't. I think this is a great opportunity for them to just go all in and create an experience that you won't find anywhere else.
It's what differentiates them, and it's what makes them different from
Absolutely.
the other people, and that's what people will go to Universal for. So yeah,
Yeah. I remember I don't know if they still have it, Joe, but at the studios they used to have a horror makeup show.
they do. Yeah.
Okay, so that's still there. I haven't been to studios in like 10 years, so um
Yeah.
so I remember the that makeup horror show, which is sort of scary. You go through different horror movies and how they come up with this makeup and whatnot, but they always took jabs at Disney. It's like you won't see this at Disney, folks. And because of the gore and the realistic makeup and whatnot. So I think that this is an opportunity for them to capitalize on that and actually just bring in something that's genuine and exciting and scary that you won't find anywhere else.
So just a really funny quick thing here. Like you just mentioned about taking the jab at Disney. So because of the time I'm saying how long it's been since you've been there. I'm assuming you've not done the Simpsons ride.
I
Um,
did, yeah.
okay, you did. Okay,
Yeah.
so
They
so you
have a
know how like
Pirates of the Caribbean
they
Java.
make the
Yeah.
whole thing
The
is
whole
making
thing.
fun of like Disney
Yeah.
rides, and then now to think that Disney owns the
I
Simpsons,
know.
dude. My mind's just like, wait a
I
second.
know. They're running out of properties over
Oh,
at
it's
Universal.
crazy, dude.
Like they own two quarters of their parks, basically, of their two parks. I mean, what could happen? Disney buying DreamWorks? I don't think Disney's gonna buy Nintendo, but yeah, you know,
You never
you
know.
never know. It's Disney, right? They're always looking to up their portfolio. Um, the next area, of course, that we mentioned is a Fantastic Beasts themed area.
Right.
Of course, they will definitely have another Harry Potter themed area
Absolutely.
in their parks. They definitely showed that they have the shops to pull this off. They now have two areas dedicated to Harry Potter at both of their parks, and bringing a third one, just linking all this the three parks together. It's a no brainer on this one.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
The other one that's shown that it's kind of not visible is down in the bottom right corner of the rendering is rumored to be a DreamWorks area. So basically, this is gonna be like a How to Train Your Dragon and Secret Life of Pets and this sort of thing. So it's gonna be kids rides and the such, but they will also have a Dueling Dragons style roller coaster, which has been rumored to be a How to Train Your Dragon themed roller coaster.
That's
Uh,
awesome because that's been widely missed at Islands of Adventure since they took that away.
yeah, yeah. The Hagrid ride is there now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Completely different though.
yeah. And that ride, they really need to step it up because, um, boy, that's seen a lot of issues with that
Yep.
ride. So I heard they're doing better with it. They're basically opening it at the same time park opens, but they're closing it earlier for maintenance. Yeah, it's insane how popular that ride's been. It's like, well, what was it, a 10-hour wait or something like this?
Some
Ridiculous.
crazy
Yeah,
thing.
this is
Come on.
ridiculous. A 6-hour wait or something like that. Yeah,
There's your day.
it's yeah, pretty much. But Joel, I'm really, really excited about this. I like I said, I haven't been to the studios in like 10 years. I haven't been to Islands of Adventure in like 15 years.
Wow.
So it's been a while for me. We're actually gonna try and go to the studios later this year
Oh, cool.
when the heat dissipates, if it
Yeah.
does, global warming. But yeah, so we're thinking of just going in like early December when the crowds are low and the weather's nice and try to go out. And my daughter's tall enough to ride pretty much everything except the Mummy and the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket studios. So we're gonna try and do the trip and see what happens. But I'm really excited. I'm excited for this Nintendo Land thing, and yeah, it's crazy. I The only thing that concerns me living here is traffic and how I know that they've talked about having some sort of connection bridge between Universal Studios or the Universal Orlando Resort and Epic Universe. We'll see. I mean, construction here in Orlando, it's dude, it's been crazy.
And honestly, Obed, I think Orlando in general, Central Florida is going to be under construction for like the next 20 years. I'm not
Pretty
even trying to
much.
exaggerate. Like they're
Oh yeah,
just keeps on, keeps it on, keeping on.
yeah. Which is a good thing. I mean, they're planning for the future, right?
Absolutely.
It's just the speed of things. It's that's what concerns me. Because yeah, man, that trip to the office or sometimes just gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. It's intense.
it gets pretty rough, especially around I 4 408. uh,
It's
yeah,
I mean, like for us, we win, right? We getting another, another attraction of the theme park here. Like we win as locals, you know. But
absolutely.
yeah, dude. I mean,
Especially with this
holidays,
thing,
all this stuff.
yeah. Especially with this thing bringing 14,000 jobs. There
Yes,
and their starting salary for this park, they're starting way above minimum wage right now. So I think this is gonna definitely bring it and bring jobs to the area, which unemployment right now in the area is not bad. So, uh, but when you have something like this that could definitely help even more
oh yeah,
people, that's absolutely great. So yeah, really really excited about that, man. So
for sure.
definitely looking forward to it. Not super hot about the name, but you know
It's
uh
easy to remember, I
it's
think, and
easy to
that's what matters.
remember. Yeah, I think it's easy to remember. Everyone remembers Epic Fail. Let's hope it's not right. And Universe, you put Universe with Universal, and then you have that sort of name. So I think it's great. We'll see. I guess we can take a look when we go to see Otaku in September,
It's
because
true.
this is like right behind the Wyndham
Yep.
where the event takes place. So we can probably just try to get a sneak peek of construction. And news crews were out there today, and they're already working on site. So
Honestly, I know all the articles I've read. I don't know if you've heard anything different, but I've not seen anything of a projected how long this is going to be. I mean, obviously it's a massive undertaking, but I've not seen anything of a projected timeline.
yeah, they haven't said they're expecting 2023. So
Hmm.
4 years, around 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because they, like I said, construction started like today, basically.
Yes.
Well, actually, technically today, but there was actually I drove by the area on Monday, and there was already work being done. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, so they've already started. Yeah, really excited, Joel. I'm super pumped about this one.
4 years is not that long at all, so that's not bad.
For a park of this caliber, I mean, it may seem long, but
That's not bad.
that's not bad at all. I mean, they could, if they concentrate, if they pull it together, they can probably pull it in 3, but I doubt it. I mean, we'll see, we'll see. I'm still really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe, GameStop. Um, we've all known that for a while now, GameStop has been having some problems. Their stock has been taking hit after hit after hit, and their stores have not been doing well. They recently announced plans, which we did not talk about it on the show because that was during the Comic Con week that all those details came out. Where basically GameStop is planning to restructure their stores, bringing do some test sites where they basically revamp their stores into gaming centers and gaming experiences, and bringing in um, esport local esport leagues to have a presence and get more involved with the gaming community and whatnot. So they're definitely in the planning phase. They're definitely looking forward to doing this, but at the same time, Joel, just announced today that they let go dozens of the regional managers as they restructure. So um, I think that consolidating regions is a good thing. There were around 50 people that were let go today. Um, I guess we'll see. This is part of the restructuring process, and GameStop hasn't filed for bankruptcy yet, and they haven't found a buyer yet. But at the same time, they are working on moving forward and moving the brand forward and saving the brand as well. Um, Joe, when was the last time you bought something at GameStop?
Uh I've been given gifts from GameStop, but it might be now over a year, I'd say. It's the
Over a
last time
year?
over a year. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like, I think the last thing I got from there wasn't a game, like personally. Like I think it was actually like it might have been like a collectible statue or something, like,
Yeah.
and which is cool because of them the Think Geek, like, consolidation as
Yeah.
well. Like that's I think something that really makes their stores more intriguing to me,
Yeah.
just for those kinds of items. But yeah, Obed, like it's crazy. We just went from a story before about like, jobs being created and all this, and then we hear this really sad, unfortunate news of people losing jobs because of restructuring of the company. We understand that there's change that's needed. We understand that they have to do what they have to do to survive, but it's unfortunate news nonetheless. Hopefully, there is a brighter future ahead. It depends on if there's a buyer out there with great vision, right, and great plans for GameStop. Because if they don't innovate, if they don't, really rile up the fan base again, and don't make people feel like they're being cheated, or don't make people feel like they're being ripped off, and fake sales and these kinds of things, like you can't have that kind of PR. So it's going to be important that they have someone with vision and someone that's able to say, no, 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 like we need to do whatever we can to buy back loyalty.
Yeah. And they announced that they are partnering with a marketing firm to go through the process and do the proper research that they need to do to get their stores to where they want them to be. I really wanted I really want GameStop to be transformed into an experience store. Like you walk in,
Yeah.
you see people, you talk to people, you just don't go there to buy a game and then get offered warranty and be asked for trade-ins and all this stuff.
It,
Oh,
it used to be kind of like that, where I
it
used to
was
walk in and play games at GameStop. Like it used to be like,
back
oh,
when it
you
was
want
EB
to test this
Games.
out? Yeah, EB Games. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Back when it was EB Games, it was more of an experience, and you can just go in and chat with the guys and look around the store, and I think it was a lot more um, straightforward versus now where you have all this stuff. Again, Joe, this is one of the negative things about monopolies and all this stuff is like where you don't have any competition. There's no one to push you forward, and and that's exactly what happened to GameStop. They bought EB Games, they bought uh, Babbage's and all these other stores, and then when it came to it, there was like nothing that they needed to do until now, where they're in legitimate problems. But
Scary.
yeah, it is scary. I would really hate to see GameStop go. I mean, it doesn't look good. I'm hoping that this plan that they're having, um, go moves forward somehow, and that they're able to make it. I mean, I asked you that question because coincidentally, this weekend's Evo, the last thing I bought at GameStop was Street Fighter Five when it came out.
Wow.
And I bought it because of the pre-order bonus that they
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
and
Most people, that's the case.
that I mean that was what made me pre-order it at GameStop. But I mean, I bought stuff at ThinkGeek. I bought shirts and random stuff, and I bought my daughter little like collectible surprise things that they sell. But you know games per se, I usually just go to Best Buy. It's a lot easier. They're competitive. Oh, you know what, Joel? I am lying. The last thing I bought was DMC5 because I messed up and canceled my Best Buy
Oh yeah,
pre-order.
you mentioned that on the podcast
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They did come through with that, but I still got it. What, 3 days after release or something like that?
Yeah.
Versus at Best Buy, I would have gotten a day off. So, but yeah, that's and I did it because I needed to get out of the. I was in a predicament. I was in a predicament,
You
and
just kind of had to.
and I had to. It was like because I had to have the MC5, so there's like no going around it. And that, interestingly enough, that was also a Capcom game. So hey, Capcom, hey, Capcom's back, man.
I know.
They're a hot commodity these days. So yeah, I really want GameStop to not die and hopefully continue. I mean, hopefully we'll see this as a new phase. In my opinion, Joe, they need to all these like low producing stores. They just need to close them like ASAP. They can't keep sleeping on that. If I would have been in their shoes, I would have done that a long time ago. Like if I would have been the CEO, those dude, there's like a really small store next to a pawn shop. Like around here where I live is like 2 miles away. And then the mall is about a half a mile away, and the GameStop is like 4 times the size with a Think Geek next to it. Like,
Wow.
why would you have that? Um, so that sort of thing, eliminate it. Just close it down. Unfortunately, that GameStop that I was telling you about, the small one that used to be a Rhino Video Games, and they
Oh
used to sell
yeah, I
more
remember
retro
that.
stuff, and they used to bring in some other cool stuff. So unfortunately, that was bought out by GameStop. Um, yeah, I mean, I really want them. I don't want them to go away. I really want them to reinvent themselves and kind of like what again Toys R Us is coming back. They're opening 2 stores, New Jersey and I think Houston,
Yep.
and with a new concept store. So we'll see. Hopefully, GameStop figures it out and they don't go anywhere. So we'll see about that, man.
We shall see.
Joe Ninja, the biggest streamer ever, also known as Tyler Blevins. Um, he is leaving Twitch for Mixer. I wonder how big that Microsoft check was,
Oh yeah,
because that is a big deal. That's like I think this is the first exclusivity deal for a streamer
has to
that
be.
we've seen. Because some streamers do both Twitch and YouTube. Some do like Twitch and Facebook. Facebook's coming on really hard with the streaming, with the game streaming thing. I get those alerts all the time. I've seen a couple, and it seems to run very well on Facebook, like on their platform. But they're when it comes to streaming platforms, of course, Twitch is number one. But yeah, this is very interesting, Joel. What do you think about this?
I think it's cool. I think that someone like Ninja, yes, I mean, yeah, like he's kind of being bought now in a sense to advertise this new thing, right? Like, let's just be straight up, right? Is I'm not gonna call the guy a sellout by any means, but it's definitely a business, is my point,
You gotta
right?
look out for yourself,
So,
man.
yeah, exactly. So he's doing his business, and he didn't say have anything bad to say about Twitch. Like, I'm going here because it's better. It's like, no, I'm just moving. That's it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Twitch has anything to worry about. Like you said, they're the biggest. They've established themselves. They've been around for a while now. People know what's up with them. They're a household name. They've got a lot of other exclusive deals, but it is something to take notice of because with Ninja being on Mixer, like people like myself will now say, well, I might just start now tuning into Mixer more because you know that the community is going to take more notice and there's going to be other people now to follow. I mean, I'm not talking about just the casuals. I'm sure there's going to be other big name people as well that will also look into this kind of movement. And so, yeah, I mean, Twitch is going to continue to be successful. I don't think they have anything to worry about. But I definitely think that Mixer is something you got to take seriously. And
Yeah.
like to your point, Obed, about the last news story we just talked about with GameStop about, like the issue and the crisis of not having competition is a real thing. When you look at something like this is a situation where guess what? Now there's a little things have changed. The pot has been stirred. This is, the change between, Eastern and Western Conference in the NBA. This is a shakeup going on,
Pretty
right?
much.
Like
Yeah.
this is a good thing, right? Just so now people have to take notice of Mixer more, and that's a good thing. So I'm a fan of this move, even though I understand it's more of a business move. It benefits us all, right? Twitch is going to get better from this, and Mixer's definitely going to get more notice.
Absolutely. And I heard Mixer is a really good platform too. It
Yeah.
doesn't get the recognition it should. I heard from several people that have used Mixer that it's been overall a very positive experience just using the platform. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta stay
Yes.
afloat. You gotta You got to make that money. So I don't blame him at all. I don't see an necessarily an issue with this, and I mean I'm not a Fortnite guy. I, I know that Fortnite's a big deal, right? There's big money out there, and it's still big. I wonder if this is part of a partnership between Epic and Microsoft. Um,
That's true.
trying to get the biggest Fortnite streamer into their platform to um, to put the product out there. So this could very well be a sort of a partnership thing, and they had to, they needed someone, and he definitely was the right person to reach out to. So yeah, very interesting, man. We'll see where this goes, and now things got interesting when it comes to streaming because YouTube didn't got on, YouTube gaming. So we'll see what Mixer can do, and maybe they can, mix things up.
I see what you did there.
Pardon the pun. But yeah, I mean, yeah, good luck to Ninja, and he's making his bucks, and I don't blame him, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. Joe, we got some PS4 news. Let's talk about EA first, and
Okay.
how they're so out of touch that it blows my mind how out of touch they are. So they're saying that they're the EA customers or the EA fan base is not interested in Switch versions of their games. You guys are idiots. I mean, I really don't know why the EA continues to be so out of touch with one their fan base and two the industry. It's like it's mind boggling, man. I mean, Joe, yeah, I mean, until I found some words, just take it away.
Yeah, dude. As a proud Switch owner and as a proud PS4 owner, I read the remarks from these guys, and they're saying, look, like our their data apparently is showing them that most people who own a Switch also own an Xbox or a PS4, right? And so they're like, well, you know what? They'll buy our games on those other two consoles. We don't need to acknowledge Switch. That is lunacy. Like that's not the way to look at data and say like we're just gonna make this executive decision to just disclude this entirely highly successful, hot on the heels of all the consoles right now. I mean, obviously we understand that PS4 sells well, we'll get into that in a second, but understanding that also how successful Switch has been since its launch, and now that they're even expanding themselves with the new Switch console that's going to be coming out now, right? It's going to get more Switches in people's hands at a cheaper price. Like you're missing out on even trying to get into that market, and that's a shame because again, it's a massive success. I think when people are asking questions like, "Well, why hasn't The Sims? Why hasn't this or that come on to the Switch?" Then that's enough data for you to say that there is an interest. So when your remarks, the EA's remarks is straight up that their customers are not interested in Switch games or interested in the Switch platform. They would rather play their games on a PS4 or an Xbox. That's just being negligent to me of real data. And Obed, you and I, we've talked about various different companies before where they've had mistakes for lack of vision. I think this is a situation where someone's just trying to stay back, trying to be comfortable. They've been in the lane of doing this thing for a while.
Yeah.
They see something that's a real opportunity. They see something that's a real possibility, but no,
You
no,
know,
we're gonna just go with this and just make an executive decision. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, what really gets me is that you get people like 2K which have vision, and even if they have to lower the frame rate on NBA 2K, let's release it on Switch.
And do it.
Just this week they announced that the Outer Worlds is gonna come out on Switch, and that's a 2K game. That's gonna be, a it's a game that requires a certain amount of power to move around. So if they make it, great. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 had to take shortcuts, but it
Yeah.
works. So I I really don't know what the reasoning behind this is. It's just, to me, is that EA is just out of touch, and they would rather do a mobile phone version instead of a Switch version, which I think, I mean, it could be fair because I think a mobile version of a game doesn't require the amount of detail that a console version of the game would. Therefore, you can make it faster and you can make money off of it quicker. But you know, the Switch is more than likely going to outsell the Xbox One next month when the new Switch Lite comes out. Um, PS4, again, we'll talk about it in a minute, but the the install base is there. So I would love to see EA put stuff on the Switch. Like, I would have loved to have Battlefront on the Switch. Like, if you offer me Battlefront 2 on the Switch, I'll probably buy it because you can have that game on the go.
I think
You
that'd be awesome.
want to grab it and play a quick match, and and
Even
put
if you
it
have to
down.
drop the frame rate.
I mean, if you hmm, you
I
can
would
move,
I
you can
think so. I
drop the
think you can make
detail.
it.
Yeah, you can drop
Yeah.
the detail on the game
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, and but I would love to still have it run at 60. Well, I mean, the thing on that game, right? So, for example, Battlefront 2 on PS4 runs at like 900p for it to hit 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
So on the Switch, it probably would run at like 560p or something. So, but if you keep it running smooth, whatever, man. If the game works, it works. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, to me, EA being out of touch. I can see where they're coming from, but unfortunately, I really don't know where some of the reasoning behind some of their decisions is, and some of the data that they're quoting. I just don't think that data is as accurate as they claim it to be. So, Joe, and again, going back to PlayStation, it reached a milestone this week of getting to 100 million units shipped worldwide. Joe, what do you think of that?
That is a tremendous success for them. They've got to rejoice. I mean, wow, like we Obed, we could be living in I say we are living in the best days of the Sony PlayStation era.
Absolutely.
I honestly, Obed, I was really happy with PS3. I was one of those people who really championed that console. Like, I know people out there who were PS2 advocates, but I was one of those people who, when I had a PS3, I thought it was the world to me. I would debate people on how it was such a great console to me, and how I still to this day think that we never will know fully the power of PlayStation 3 just because of how weird that cell engine is, dude. Like,
Yep.
we still won't know, right? And
Yeah.
so looking at now the success of PS4, to me this is like just an evidence of like they're gonna ride this thing till the end. Like there's no reason for them to rush into the next gen. You and I have talked about this. Yes, Microsoft teased their next gen console at E3 slightly, but Sony has nothing to run into. People are buying their stuff, man. Like we're fine. That to me, that's what this tells me. Like we're fine, no rush. Keep doing great.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, prices on consoles may be going up, of course, because of our great leadership. So yeah,
It's true. It's a real
there's that.
thing.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
we're
see.
gonna get a 10% increase on consoles more than likely in the next few weeks. So, but Joel, the milestone itself is a big deal, and Ars Technica put together a fantastic article about how big of a deal the 100 million um, milestone is. Just to put it in context, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
through some of their details here. It took the PS4 67 months to arrive at the 100 million. It took the PS2 69 months to get um, to that milestone, and the PS2 is the highest selling console ever at 150 some million units. I don't think the PS4 is gonna get there, but that was the PS2 reached it. Of course, there was the PS2 had a bunch of other issues. PS2, the first batch of consoles were not of great quality because it was rushed to market. So a lot of people, including myself, actually bought a second PS2 because their first one broke. Um, and my second one actually broke my second fat one too. So I don't have a PS2 right now, Joe. I gotta get one. 79 months for the Wii to get to 100 million. And the Wii got to I think 101 million, if I'm not wrong. So it's on track to outsell the Wii by the end of the year. Um, and it took 113 months for the original PlayStation to reach 100 million units sold, which is interesting because the PS1 came out in 1994, in Japan 1995 here. So you know by 1999 we knew that the PS2 was coming, because it was leaked out sort of like when the Dreamcast was gonna come out. They went ahead and started leaking out specs and all these stuff, kind of like what they're doing with Xbox right now. They're really sort of playing that PS2 playbook thing again. Um, it took 51 months for the Nintendo DS to sell that amount. The DS was a hit, so I can't definitely argue with that. And it took 134 months to the Game Boy slash Game Boy Color to get to that amount. The
Which
Game Boy,
is
uh-huh,
Game Boy 30 years old yesterday,
30
right?
years old yesterday. Yep. So, and the interesting thing about the Game Boy again is that they're combining Game Boy and Game Boy Color, which the Game Boy Color technically is a different piece of hardware, and that had a 10-year run altogether. So, yeah, very interesting. 31 months for the iPad to sell 1 million. 44 months to I'm sorry, for 100 million. 44 months for the iPhone to sell 100 million. 50 months for Alexa devices to sell 1 million. Um, yeah, it's huge. It's a huge milestone. I'm really excited. I'm really happy. Like you said, this is the best time for PlayStation. Again, PlayStation basically saved Sony. Sony was
Yes,
definitely not in
literally.
great shape going into this generation of consoles, and now Sony is synonymous with PlayStation. Sony used to be stereos and TVs and
Yep.
rice cookers and all these other stuff that they made. Now it's they're synonymous with Sony is a gaming company, and right now Sony is a gaming company first, and it's an electronics company second.
I agree.
That's their business right now. Of course, they still make phones, and again, I think Sony phones are fantastic.
Yep.
If you have not seen those new Xperia phones with the 21, the 26:9 or whatever aspect ratio that is, they're gorgeous phones. They're awesome. Their TVs are great. You know, all most of their products are solid. I don't want to say all of them, but most of them are. Their headphones are solid. Their home audio equipment, like their receivers and Blu-ray players are solid. So, um, but you can combine all of that, and it does not reach what the PlayStation has achieved for the company. I think that next generation is going to be real interesting. I think that you better be ready to pony up some cash, especially with the tariff.
Seriously.
Yeah, especially with the tariffs. I see
Yep.
the PS 5 being at least 650 right now.
Hmm.
So, based on specs, that of course is to change. They may adopt the Gillette, what do they call it? The Gillette model, give away the racer and make money out of the cartridges. Sort of like what Sega did
Yeah.
when with the Genesis. It was like basically they sold the Genesis at a loss, but they made money on controllers and games. So they might as well do that, and they may give you the console and then make money on the back end off of PSN and PS Plus and all this stuff. So um, there's still rumors that they're working on like a new version of PSN that's gonna be a little bit more money, but offer better features. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping it's not that expensive, but um, if it's that expensive, Joel, will you get it day one or will you hold off?
I mean, it all depends on when I get an official announcement, of course, but I would be itching still just because I'm so high on. Yeah, dude, I'm be itching because I'm so high on PS4 and I'm happy with it, obviously. So I'm not like I can't wait for the next thing. Like I'm happy with this. I could be good with this
Yep.
dude for a while, and I'm not gonna. That's not what makes me rush. But
Yep.
because of being so high and being so satisfied, it does make me have ridiculously high expectations for like a fantastic launch for PS5. And so for that very reason, I still would not say I would not get a day one copy. Dude, I'm one of those people like when they sell the first PlayStation, whatever, like I'll watch like the live streams and stuff, like the midnight launches or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the guy first in line to be handed his PlayStation, right? So I'll be one of those people watching whether I get one or not. We'll have to see.
Yeah, those are
But
always good. Yeah.
yeah, those are always fun, dude. But I'm not gonna say no. I might. I mean, then again, if you get a day one, and if it starts to not be that great, there's always, the ability of trying to get another one, and whether that's trading in for quality or whatever, right? So there's a lot of pros and cons to getting a day one, console. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I will definitely try and grab one if possible. But again, I'm not like dying. It's like I need a new console. Like, cause I'm
No,
perfectly happy with my PS4 at the moment. I mean, hopefully it doesn't die tomorrow. So,
exactly.
it's 4 years old now. It's going strong, and I find no issues with it. So, I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen eventually, but I'm not itching again. I bet that once I see like something new running on that console, or see like I don't know, like Death Stranding running at 60 frames, or like DMC 5 running on like legit 4K 60, maybe that will blow me away. But until the time comes, we shall see. Joel, that's what we got for this week. Hope you
That's
guys
right.
enjoyed. Again, tune in next week for episode 100. We're gonna do something a little bit different. So, yeah, thank you again, guys, for joining us. And Joel, go ahead and plug us in.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to listen to us here on our show. We want to encourage you to stay connected with us. So go ahead and follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. In addition to that, we want to make sure you are a subscriber so you get all of our latest episodes as they come through. Go ahead and subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify. Of course, we also have our video version on YouTube, which is in the works. We're figuring all that out now with our technical stuff, but still go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And with that being said, we welcome a lot of your feedback, your comments. So go ahead and send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Maybe we'll even discuss it on the show. We've talked about a lot of really interesting things today. Maybe we've got thoughts about this new Universal theme park. Maybe we got thoughts about what's going on with GameStop or EA. We'd love to hear your feedback. Go ahead and send us an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. But until then, guys, episode 100, the big one, is coming up next.
It's the big one. Thank you, guys. Have a great time, and we'll see you on episode 100.
See you guys.